Hello lovelies, today I'm going to do an A4 art journal page in my Strathmore visual journal, which is a mixed media, the mixed media version, which basically means it has paper that can take anything from dry-ish media, I guess like pencils and crayons, to more watery media like watercolor, ink sprays, paint and all that sort of thing. So that's why I'm going to use this, because it's safe to use and the paper in there is really lovely to use. It's just a nice thick paper. It's just really nice. So I've decided to use my Distress Oxide Sprays today. I've got some Mermaid Lagoon, picked raspberries, squeezed lemonade and twisted citron. So all my favorite colors in my hand. So all I'm going to do, and if you haven't used those sprays before, they're really easy. Just shake them up first to make sure everything is nicely spread in the bottle before you spray anything. Let me just recenter this, and you're good to go. And then just spray. I'm going to start with my lighter colors first, so the yellow and the lime green, and then I'm going to come in with my blue. I think I'll do the pink first. Yeah, beautiful. And then the turquoise color, little burst just like that, and maybe one more here. Now these sprays are reactive with water, so if you have a little spray bottle handy, which I cannot see in front of me, but I'll find one, you can make them mix a little bit more together. There we go. So yeah, the idea is that you can make the colors sort of blend a little bit together and react together, just like the oxide ink pads do, except that this is in the spray version. So I let that dry a little bit too fast just while I was looking for my water bottle. But anyway, that's okay. I'll just add a little bit more. I'll just do the yellow so the other colors don't get too overpowering. And just like the ink pads, you will get some reaction, you know, some oxidization, I can't even say the word, happening. So let's just let that soak in a little bit. Maybe I haven't put too much water because I don't want things to drip everywhere. Just move it around just a tad. And then I'm just going to dry that off a bit. And before it's completely dry, I'm going to use a bit of paper towel and sort of mop up some of the areas where the color is not as I would like it to be. Say there, and then you get some cool texture happening with your paper towel by dabbing it while it's still a bit wet, which is cool. And then I'm going to keep adding some color. I want a bit more of the pink. Yeah, a bit more here. And a bit more of the yellow, because it creates a really nice orange. And see what happens. Basically, I'm just letting it develop a little bit. And I'm going to dry this off. Okay, my page is dry now, so I'm going to come in with a stencil. This is a dilution stencil. Can't remember the exact name, something to do with dots, but I'll find out for you. And if you go click on the blog post on my website, you'll have a list of supplies used in this video on there, and it will have links of where to purchase as well if you want to find out more. So what I'm going to do is just spray the stencil completely with a bit of water, just to make the ink underneath react once again. I'm just going to give it a moment to reactivate. Not too long, you know, it pretty much comes back to life pretty fast. Grab a piece of paper towel again, and then I'm going to mop up through the stencil. Basically, I'm just mopping up the water I just put on there. And this should lift off some of the ink that I sprayed earlier. And if it may not be very visible on the lighter colors, of course, but on the darker one, it should be a little bit more obvious. The effect is going to be subtle no matter what, but because it is a background, we don't want things to go too crazy just yet. But let's see how that looks. If that's not enough, we can always do it again. No, I think that's enough. I hope you can see. I'm going to dry it off and then I'll show you up close. Well, actually, while I dried it, it became even more subtle. So maybe a little bit too subtle, still pretty, but I want a little bit more than that. So I'm going to do it again. If you don't succeed, just try again. I'm going to try to place the stencil roughly where it was before. I think about that should do it. If not, well, too bad. It doesn't matter. Let's put a bit more water this time. Maybe I was a little bit too conservative with it. Just looking at an angle as well to make sure that the water is going inside the openings of the stencil and not just sitting on top, as it seems to be doing in some of the areas. Let's just take that off completely. And then we'll just roll it up with a paper towel. I think that will work a little bit better. Again, still subtle. You're not going to get anything strong. That's normal. But I think if you dry it as fast as you can, then you'll retain some of the effect. That's really nice. I hope it stays like this once it's dry. I'll dry it off and then we'll find out. Okay, this time the effect stayed a lot more visible, so I'm happy with that. So now, as you know, when you're using water-soluble media, when you add things to what you've just put down, quite often it will absorb the colors underneath, and you can use that to your advantage if you like. And this is something that I showed you when I was using the Dilution shimmer sprays. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link to it in the corner so you can go check that out. But basically this should be the exact same idea. If we use something white, then the ink should rise to the surface and color the white that we put on top. So let's try it now. We're going to use some texture paste, also called modeling paste, and grab another stencil, this time with a smaller pattern than the one that I've just used. We're going to spread that around. So to complement this dotted pattern, I'm going to use this one, and this is a darkroom door stencil. Again, I'll put all the items I'm using on the blog post so you can refer back to it if you like. So same pattern, or very similar anyway, just smaller, so that will go perfectly with this. And we just need some texture paste. I love using the Liquitex modeling paste. It's just really great quality. And to spread it around, I love using my Finnabair silicone brush. Okay, let's just dig right into that big jar. Oh, it's nice and gooey. Gooey, gooey goodness. It's got a nice firm-ish texture as well, which means you get really great results. So I'm going to slap it on just randomly like that. You can see how easy it is to spread with this brush. I used to use a little credit card and also sometimes a palette knife, or most often a palette knife, and it's just much harder. It does okay, but it's not as good as this. So here I'm doing some random pattern, and I'm not trying to fill in all the holes. I'm fine with having some of them sort of half filled. It gives a bit more interest. Just like that, and maybe a little bit in this corner here. That's it. I'm going to put the excess back in there. And the cool thing about using silicone, as you may know from using kitchen utensils, is that it dries off quite fast, and it's also very easy to clean. So usually I just grab a baby wipe and that's enough to clean it up, but this will do for now. I'm going to lift that off, and then as you can see, and I'll go wash this off in a moment before it dries, the Liquitex texture paste or modeling paste gives you a super crisp imprint, like really crisp. There's, you know, it's just so neat, and it's really, I don't know if you can pick up the texture here, but it's really raised. It's really cool. I really love it. It's a great product. So I'm gonna let this dry, and if my theory is right, before it's dry, the white should have absorbed some of the color underneath. I don't know for sure if it will, but I think it will. So let's just wait patiently and find out. I'm going to put that one back down. There we go. I'll come back in a moment. Okay, it's all nice and dry now. So as I suspected, the texture paste or modeling paste definitely did pick up some of the colors below. I'll show you up close. It's not super obvious, but it has been a little bit tinted, which gives you a really cool effect. It really incorporates that texture with the background instead of having the white dots just sitting on top. That's pretty cool, but definitely not as much as a reaction as you would get with Dilution ink sprays or the shimmer sprays, but still cool. Try it out. Okay, now I'm going to use a few stamps to add a bit of interest and texture with some StazOn Gent Black, because I know that will not react with anything underneath. Gonna go over. It's always a bit harder to press stamps on top of texture paste, but I'll try to do it where it's not too thick. And these are stamps from Carabel Studio, designed by Birgit Kubsen. Some really cool stars. Let's do this one down here. You could use an acrylic block, of course, it's a little bit easier, but you know, I like to be a little bit wild. Let's put one down there. Okay, that's cool. I feel like I should add something else though. Let me think what I could bring to add a bit more texture. Actually, I had an idea and I don't know what's going to happen. It could completely backfire and ruin the page, but you know, if you don't experiment, then you never find out anything new. So basically, I was thinking of bringing that stencil back. You can still see it a little bit in the background. Doesn't matter if it's disappeared a bit. But I was thinking of putting it back on here and spraying the oxide sprays on top in sections just to see what happens, if it's going to react some more with the ink that we've already put underneath, or you know, I don't know. But I just thought I'll try it again, and I'm thinking maybe I should try using contrasting colors. So maybe some blue on top of the pink, yellow on top of the pink, maybe green on top of the blue, that sort of thing. Let's just try it and see. So a little bit of blue here, mostly on my table, but that's okay. Let's do a bit of the green in this section. And then let's do a bit of the, should I do some blue here? Let's do the blue. Okay, and maybe a bit more of the pink around this section. So I'm being fairly generous with it. I'll do it a bit more here, so I'll make sure that it does stay there. Of course, it's going to react with what is underneath. I can't speak now. Oh, no, that's the wrong one, but we'll see if it looks good or not. I'm going to carefully lift this up. See what happens. Oh, that's cool. I like that effect actually. That's nice. Okay, well, it was worth the risk, I think. Now if I was going to put some water or anything watery on top, it would definitely go everywhere and mess it up. So I'm going to just let it dry, and I'm going to mop up what I've got on here with another page. Actually, I'm going to do it on the opposite page. Let's see. Let's try not to make a mess. Not too much anyway. Okay, let's just flip that and then transfer it. Oop, I don't want a piece of ribbon here. Just squeeze that out onto this page. I think this would look good. I can do a matching page later on. Oh, that's so cool. Love that. That's really, really cool. Okay. Let's dry this off. Okay, I think we're good to go now. So, next I'm going to add some focal elements, and I'm going to pick some of my water circles that I created earlier. And I'm thinking that the colors actually match really well with these. Aren't these pretty? This is one of my favorites. It's got some beautiful shimmer, which I hope you can pick up. But yeah, so I'm thinking of putting a few on here. 3 always works well. So let's see. Maybe these, maybe one with some orange. Some of them are more or less round because they're hand drawn, and I can't definitely draw a perfect circle, that's for sure. I'm thinking putting this one in here, and then maybe this one around there so it pops. And let's pick one maybe a different size as well. So we've got large, medium, and small-ish. I think that works well. Yep, that looks good. So I'm going to use my gel medium to glue these, especially with a texture paste that's a little bit thick underneath. You'll need something that's will do the job properly. So matte gel, Liquitex brand. Again, I'm not sponsored. It's just you know, I like recommending brands that I love and that I trust. This gel medium is great. That's all I use. And I'm just going to add a little bit behind. It's fairly thick. It may ooze out, but that's okay. We'll just wipe it off if needed. Yep, it is needed. So I'm just going to remove the excess. And I'm not trying to make it completely stuck all the way around. I actually like having a bit of 3D pop there, like it's standing out a little bit from my page, as if I put some double-sided tape, for instance. Let's put it this way. And then let's do the big one. So you don't need to cover the entire thing, just a nice blob here. Even that's probably a bit too much, but you know. And then we'll just put it down. Okay. While that's doing its thing, I'm going to use some collage words by Dina Weekly to put in the center of my circles. And let's see what we could do. This could be nice. We could do be you, be strong, be enough. Or maybe this one, you are loved, you are beloved, you are vast, you are infinite. They won't fit in one line, obviously. I'll have to cut them down, but that's okay if needed. Okay. I think this would be good, actually. I could use the be you, which is a small sentence, to go on the small one here. And the other ones on the larger circles. Okay, let's do be strong and be enough. Be strong, be enough, be you. Okay, that makes sense to me. So I'm going to cut them out and then use my gel medium to glue them. And here I've mucked up my white border a little bit, so I'm going to come back in with a white gel pen just to fix that up a little bit. It is watercolor on the background, so when I applied the gel medium, then the wetness of the gel medium reactivated the watercolor underneath. I think that's what happened. Okay, all good now. Not a big deal at all. Doesn't have to be perfect, and certainly is not perfect. Now, to make my circle stand out even more, I'm going to use a white paint marker and do little dots around. Those little dots are a little bit of a trademark for me. And these should definitely pick up the ink underneath. I mean, I seriously doubt that they will stay completely white. But, you know, we shall see. You can see that they're already absorbing some of the color below, which is cool. I expected that. And then my little dots are still in keeping with the overall theme. There you go. My poor French is coming back in. In keeping with the theme of the circles here. So we've got basically circles of all sizes. Tiny dots, medium dots, sort of larger dots, and really big ones. And then the stars where they're just thrown in there just for fun, just to break it up, I guess. Sometimes you do things without really understanding why you're doing it. It just feels right. And this is one of those days. Okay. So you can see the white is starting to get absorbed by the ink right there. Like you can see here, they become pink and yellow. So that's all good. Now I'm going to keep using this technique to create a super easy border, just a hand-drawn scribbly border, which is going to be white for now, but again is going to absorb some of the color underneath. A bit more. The scribblier, the better. Don't quote me on that. Okay, I'm thinking doing some little lines around. Not that easy when you've got the texture paste in the way, but it's all right. It's working. Yeah. Again, I'm expecting these to absorb some of the color underneath. We know that by now. And this one. Just little, elements that just help bring everything together. Just sometimes a couple of lines can really just transform a page. Okay, guys. Getting close to the end. Now I'm debating adding some metallics. You know how addicted I am to metallics and golds and shimmers. So do we or do we not? I say we do. Let's just put some. You knew that was coming, right? Okay, I'm thinking of putting some acrylic gold paint. Let's see if I can find it. Actually, I have this old paint. I can't remember what it's called. It was from Pebeo. It was an iridescent gold, I think. This one I won't be able to tell you what it's called because I don't even know if it exists anymore. I bought a large tube so long ago I can't even remember. And yeah, it was some sort of iridescent gold, but there is a similar product now that I will link to if you want to find something similar to this. I think they just sort of changed the packaging, possibly. That's why this one doesn't exist anymore. It was in a metal kind of tube, or aluminium, the ones, the ones you can roll up, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm just dabbing my finger very gently. I don't want like large dots of gold, just, some little bits here and there, basically. And then I'll do a little bit on the border, just Again, just kind of rough. Now this acrylic will not absorb the color underneath, so we're good. It will stand out and stay gold. And this is just, you know, a very easy way to create a simple border that's, you know, it is effective. It looks a little bit messy to some people, and certainly I would have not accepted this kind of behavior many years ago. I would have said, what is that? It's just really messy. It's like a kid doing this. But now I get it. It's just not, it's not something you can explain. I get it now. I get it. And I'm so glad I get it, because I feel a lot more free, you know, to be able to do messy looking art like this compared to what I used to do, which was, you know, a bit more perfectionist, I guess. Okay, my friends, enough blabbing on. My page is finished. Let me show you a little bit closer. And you can see the gold. You can see those circles popping up as they're just sort of standing on top, which gives them a little bit of 3D texture and depth. Hope you've enjoyed this. If you're watching on my website, leave me a comment to let me know if you enjoyed it and got inspired. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure that you like the video and you subscribe and share the video. It really helps my channel grow, and it helps me, you know, create more videos for you guys, because it is a lot of work. Some work that I love doing, but it is a lot of work. So give me some love. I really enjoy hearing back from you. If you followed this tutorial, make sure to put a photo in the private Facebook group, the Mixed Media Tribe, so I can see what you've created from it and how you got inspired. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.